11 Best Video Games of 2025, so far, PS5, Nintendo Switch 2, Xbox Series X and PC. 2025's gaming landscape has been nothing short of phenomenal. From the cinematic marvels of Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 to the adrenaline-pumping action of Doom, The Dark Ages, and the charming adventures in Donkey Kong Bonanza on the newly launched Nintendo Switch 2, gamers have been spoilt for choice across all platforms, including PS5, Xbox Series X and PC. Each game has brought something unique to the table, catering to a wide range of preferences and showcasing the creative prowess of the developers. Monster Hunter Wilds has taken the Monster Hunter series to new heights, offering a vast and dynamic world filled with thrilling hunts and deep customization options. Split Fiction, developed by Haze Light, has pushed the boundaries of co-op gameplay, delivering an emotionally charged story that changes based on the player's perspectives. Assassin's Creed Shadows has struck a perfect balance between stealth and action, allowing players to choose their approach in the beautifully crafted world of feudal Japan. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage has captivated players with its dual timelines, supernatural mystery, and impactful character interactions. Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves has made a triumphant return, providing fighting game enthusiasts with smooth animations, flashy visuals, and deep gameplay mechanics. Rematch has revolutionized online sports gaming by emphasizing skill and precision over stat upgrades. Death Stranding 2 has moved players to tears with its captivating storytelling, relatable characters, and thought-provoking themes. Donkey Kong Bonanza has showcased the capabilities of the Nintendo Switch 2, offering a fresh take on the classic franchise with destructible environments and strategic animal transformations. As we move forward in 2025, these 11 games have set the bar high for the gaming industry. They have not only provided endless hours of entertainment, but have also sparked conversations and encouraged players to think deeply about the stories and themes presented. With more exciting titles on the horizon, it will be interesting to see how the rest of the year unfolds, and which games will leave a lasting impact on players worldwide. Is the 2025 Game of the Year race already decided? Exploring the top contenders. Is the 2025 Game of the Year race already over? IGN. We're a little over halfway through 2025, but there's a strong case for calling the Game of the Year race over, even before the end of summer. Typically, the time to start thinking about Game of the Year is after all the fall releases come out, and we can take stock of all the great games that came out across the 10 or 11 previous months. And while there are still some exciting games on the horizon, 3 have made a strong claim on the gaudy crown already, and it's hard to imagine any of them losing steam anytime soon. With under half a year left in 2025, let's look back at our 3 frontrunners and how they each captured everyone's attention. Can they hold on to their status as this year's best game? Or will we see an upset in the coming months? ## the frontrunners. There's a popular consensus, both among IGN staff and in the public, that Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 from developer Sandfall Interactive, Death Stranding 2, On the Beach from Kojima Productions, and Donkey Kong Bonanza from Nintendo EPD are leading the gaudy race in 2025. Each of these games received rave reviews and captured the popular imagination for different reasons. What's more, each of them is associated with one of gaming's big 3. Death Stranding 2 and Donkey Kong Bonanza are PlayStation and Nintendo exclusives, respectively. Meanwhile, Expedition 33 launched Day 1 on Xbox Game Pass to quickly become one of the service's most popular games. https://www.thegambusiness.com/p/expedition-33-publisher-Elder-Scrolls. So let's start there. ## Clair Obscur, Expedition 33 emerges from obscurity. Arguably, the biggest surprise of the year is Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Made by a core team of around 30 developers, Sandfall Interactive's debut has become the toast of the games industry, given that it's a brand new IP from a small studio that quickly went on to sell 3.3 million copies within 33 days. https://www.ign.com/articles/Clair Obscur Expedition sells million in days. Not bad for games some thought was going to get crushed by the Elder Scrolls for Oblivion Remastered. Expedition 33 is about the eponymous exploration team sent to stop a godlike entity known as the Paintress. Each year, the Paintress draws a new number on a colossal stone pillar, and any citizen of the fictional city of Lumiere who is the same age or older than that number disappears. This event, known as the Gommage, has been inflicting a devastating emotional toll on the people of Lumiere each and every year, not least because the number decreases annually, thus extinguishing younger and younger citizens. It's not hard to see why Expedition 33 became such a success. This modern take on the classic JRPG formula is exhilarating to play thanks to the way it combines turn-based combat with real-time actions like dodges and parries. And the excellent, heart-wrenching story is led by a stellar cast of characters voiced by talented actors such as Charlie Cox, Ben Starr, and Jennifer English. The remarkable thing about Expedition 33 is that it truly feels like it came out of nowhere. Initially announced at the 2024 Summer Games Fest with a striking trailer, not much was known about this game heading into launch. While two of the studio's founders are former Ubisoft developers, many members of the team were found on sites like Reddit, ArtStation, and SoundCloud. While the reports about Expedition 33 being made by 33 developers are a bit misleading, Sandfall's small core team worked with several specialist companies for QA, music, performance capture, and other development disciplines. It doesn't take away from the impressive feat achieved with Expedition 33. https://www.ign.com/articles/claire-obsker-expedition-33-review ##### Death Stranding 2, On the Beach returns Kojima to his best. Death Stranding 2, On the Beach is a return to form. https://www.ign.com/articles/death-stranding-2-on-the-beach-review, for one of gaming's most famous directors, Hideo Kojima. While many fans enjoyed the first Death Stranding, I think few would say it was on par with Kojima's previous work on the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Not so with his sequel, On the Beach, which improves on virtually every aspect of the first game. The story of Death Stranding 2 picks up shortly after the events of the original, and once again stars Norman Reedus as the post-apocalyptic deliveryman Sam Porter Bridges. This time, Sam makes his way across Mexico and Australia to reconnect the world following a mysterious catastrophe known as the Death Stranding. Along with the new environment, he's joined by a crew of new characters like the transdimensional ship Captain Tarman, a rain mystic appropriately named Rainy, a mysterious young woman called Tomorrow, the talking figurine companion Dolman, and Sam's former delivery competitor Fragile. With Death Stranding 2, Kojima Productions refined the original game's core traversal challenge gameplay experience to a fine point. Players are free to combine any number of tools, like ladders and floating carriers, to make their way through hostile terrain, and Death Stranding 2's combat has been dramatically improved thanks to an expanded arsenal of weapons and skills. Why shoot bullets at enemies when you can karate kick them in the head using techniques taught to you by Ghost in the Shell director Mamoru Oshii? Yes, Death Stranding 2 is a strange game, but it's also unlike any other AAA game out there. Amid a wave of glowing reviews, Death Stranding 2 feels like a reminder that there's no one quite like Kojima when it comes to game development. Not only are there all kinds of bizarre and wonderful little details in Death Stranding 2, https://www.ign.com/articles/death-stranding-2- for 5-amazing-details-that-blue-us-away, but all the technical and visual improvements in the sequel make this the best game Kojima has directed since he left Konami. #Donkey Kong Bonanza is the Switch 2's Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Donkey Kong is perhaps Nintendo's second most famous mascot after Mario, but the prospect of a new 3D Donkey Kong game still raised plenty of eyebrows. Not only is Bonanza the first 3D Donkey Kong platformer since 1999's Rocky Donkey Kong 64, but as a Switch 2 launch window exclusive, a lot was riding on the big ape's massive shoulders DK needed to propel Nintendo's newest console to success. Well, any skepticism has seemingly been put to bed as Donkey Kong Bonanza looks like the Switch 2's first killer app. DK is back in the spotlight, this time as a miner who spends his days digging deep below the Earth's surface to find banandium gems, banana-shaped crystals that he loves to eat. One day, DK and his crew are swallowed up by a giant sinkhole in the ground and he, along with his new friend Pauline, must find a way back up to the surface where they belong. We gave Bonanza a 10 in our review. https://www.ign.com/articles/donkey-kong-bonanza-review, the first perfect score for a full-length game since 2023. Our only full marks reviews in 2024 were for Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and a re-review of the then newly updated Stardew Valley, and for good reason. This open-world adventure might seem like Donkey Kong, by way of The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild mixed with a destroy-everything-in-sight gimmick on the subsurface. But the Bonanza team, the same developers behind Super Mario Odyssey, https://www.ign.com/articles/donkeykongbonanza exists because Yoshiaki Koizumi asked the Mario Odyssey team for a Donkey Kong game, have plenty of tricks up their sleeves. While I'd hate to spoil all that Bonanza has to offer, considering it's only just come out, it features moments that rival the best 3D Mario games. One standout detail is how there are different kinds of sediment in Bonanza, from regular bedrock that can be easily crushed, to muddy clay or steel that require different strategies to manipulate. You're practically an amateur geologist by the end of the game. Plus, nothing else in all of gaming feels as satisfying as smashing through entire levels as DK. Well, save for swinging Kratos' axe in God of War perhaps. #possible contenders. While these three releases have dominated the Game of the Year conversation, there are still yet to be released games on the 2025 calendar that could elbow into the conversation. Biggest among them is Ghost of Yoti, Sucker Punch's long-awaited sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. The recent PlayStation deep dive into Ghost of Yoti, https://www.ign.com/articles/ghost-of-yoti-state-of-play-july-to-5-everything- revealed, showed off a variety of exciting gameplay improvements and features, like the return of the different director modes, which will give Ghost of Yoti a different vibe depending on which director's style you choose. Kurosawa mode returns and turns the world into a classic, black and white samurai film, but new additions like